Yes, bro. What's up, man? What's going on?
Yes, man. Everything is good. It's good to see you right now, man. Really, really good to see you. Thank you for joining us again. Um,
hmm
how is everything going? How are you coping right now during this lockdown?
Not too bad, man. Still cranking, still working. Actually, just got out of a session, so still holding it down, man. Keeping busy.
Nice, nice, nice. So, how has it
hmm
been in terms of keeping all your creative energies together? I know this is kind of a tough time for a lot of creatives. How has it
hmm
been?
Well, I won't lie, it was hard in the beginning. You had some days where you would just wake up and you would just eat and go back to sleep. You didn't feel like doing anything. But eventually, start do some reading, some research, and I just psych myself back up really, and that's why we're here now today on this interview
There
because
you
we
go.
got something to deal with and talk about.
Yes, absolutely. The willpower is strong. I could see it. I
hmm
could see it. So I'm gonna jump right into it. You just released your album, Other
hmm
Side. I took a listen to it from top to bottom. I gotta say, brother, I love it.
Mad,
It's
bro.
keeping the vibes up. I love all the grooviness, the bashment, the sweet soca, the little bit of the experimental in there. Tell
hmm
me a little bit more about it. The tracks. How was the creative process? Let us know all the info about this mean album.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's called The Other Side. It shows a different side of me musically. As you said, with the experimental stuff. Like I low key like that stuff a lot. So like I find, we can't really do it much in soca because, soca's a lot of fetting and rags and waves, whatever the case may be. But putting the project together wasn't that hard because, we always making music. And we had a couple songs just sitting down, from like as far back as 2017, you know. So we just, put them together, decide, all right, what direction we're gonna go, and we just went with it, man. And the other side was born.
Amazing, man. Yeah, I really loved it, because I felt like I was kind of getting the best of Just D. I was getting, a lot of your
hmm
well-known songs. I was getting some of the stuff that I wasn't too familiar with, and I really enjoyed that. I want to ask something. I usually save this question for later on, but usually you touched on it already. But one of the things I'm most fascinated with soca artists is some people might say that soca as a genre might limit people's creativity because we as fans have an expectation of what it is and what it should sound like,
hmm
For you as an artist, do you find that soca lets you really bring out your most creative energies, or do you find that you have to venture into other genres to really creatively express yourself?
A bit of both. It kind of depends on, what type of artist you are. If you're the type that would more follow rather than try to lead and try to do your own thing and have people accept you for it. But sometimes, on the other hand, sometimes I would say that, it could limit you a bit because like you might want to sing a sad song, but a sad song might not really kick off in the effect. And we all know if you don't really happening in the effect, then you ain't gonna really get the bookings and the forward, that you're looking for. So it kind of limit you a little bit.
Cool, man. Yeah, I always like to see, where do artists need to draw that line, between, mashing up effects and keeping that momentum versus actually getting to express how they feel, because I mean, the way that I look at music is that it's always a form of expression, right? So it's good to hear that. And I could definitely get that vibe on your album that there was
hmm
so many emotions and other sides of you that we were getting to hear that we might not get in effects because it could be limited to a certain a certain amount of time that you might have to be on stage, or certain songs that will have to kick off. So that's good
Right.
to hear. That's really good to hear. It's really rare, I find, right, for soca
hmm
artists to do albums. I find the industry is a bit based more on single tracks and EPs. So what made you decide to venture more into doing a full-on album?
Well, a couple of things. One, in the beginning, my heart was really into like pop and R&B and hip hop. And we all know those genres. The artists release a lot of albums along with singles. Um, Two, we on lockdown now. I felt like I needed something, to stay relevant as well, to keep me busy, to keep me from being depressed. That I could be doing these kind of lives and have something to talk about. And just the fact that, music for me is a full-time thing. So like I can't stop. I feel like I need a couple albums in my repertoire. I remember I was at this show one time and the guy was introducing Sizzler. and he was like 50 something albums. And in my brain, I was like, yo, if this man got 50 something albums, you know how much songs, he have, like his catalog got to be deep. And, that's where I would like to be. So I decided, you know what, let me just start with an album. And it just seemed like now was the perfect time where everybody listening.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. One of my favorite tracks on the song was Tighter. Like I was listening to that
Hmm.
on repeat. It's just the whole vibe with it. And I noticed you had like some of the Latin vibes in there, for that specific track. What made you want to go into that direction of it, incorporating specifically, that vibe and that culture?
Well, one, I was in Miami. I think it was 2018, and we went by one of these malls, and they were just banging some Latin music, some reggaeton. So I was like, yo, I could do something like this. So that's how Title came about, And then my thing was to try to get in a different market, like that whole Spanish market. It's just a whole other side. So that was one of the reasons for me doing Taita and trying to cross the border and get some attention from somewhere else other than just the soca arena.
Really dope, really dope. Yeah, man, I could definitely see, that being a vibe and a trend. And of course, I'm just gonna take a quick look into the comments real quick. But Paul saying, yeah,
Hmm.
nine was different. The album has a lot of vibes and it's dope. Soca and Champagne, big up yourself. Jay, loving
Bless
how
up.
you did the album. And yeah, so speaking of nine, I know, that was one of your flagship songs. I mean, to this day, still one of
Yeah,
the most
boy.
trending songs out of Barbados. Can you give us a little bit of background into nine?
Well, nine. What can I say about nine? Nine was one of those turning points, in my career as an artist. Where I decide, you know what, I'm just gonna think like Kanye and just do what I feel, what I like, and who like it, who don't like it. But at the same time, I was seeing, okay, there's a trend right now where you had songs like Fast Wine, you had songs by like Cartel that they all had the same BPM, rock and come in, and I felt like, okay, if I do release nine, then the DJs will have something else to play it with, and it wouldn't get lost. And it was a great decision. It just worked out. The time it was just perfect.
Amazing, man. Yeah. Hearing you say that, it really echoes something I heard Rick Rubin say, which was that when you create great art, it's really great if some people really love it and some people really don't like it. And
Hmm.
the people who love it, they will really, really love it. And I think in this case, Caribbean people all over love that tune for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
boy, for sure.
So I see you've been keeping busy during the lockdown. You have your album. You released Boom Bam, one of your latest tunes on the album as well.
Yeah, man.
Why is it still important to release music during this time?
Well, I don't want to be depressed. Said that earlier, but then it's also important, to give people vibes because right now a lot of people home, a lot of people sad and feeling down. Music is one of the few things that could help, build up people, especially with all of these carnivals being canceled. Like, I mean, yourself, myself, a bunch of people on this live, we carnival holics. We look forward to just hopping around carnivals, meeting our friends that we haven't seen for like half of the year, you know, to then hear it cancel. And then on top of that, artists not sure about releasing music, more depression. So I just decided, man, I'm gonna be one of the Lone Rangers and just put out some music for the people.
Real vibes, yeah. I could see you taking charge, man. It's important, and I definitely think that with this album and stuff like that's a lot of people really feeling the vibes that you had to offer. Barbados especially, and Bajan music has such a distinct style, right?
Hmm.
Could you explain a little bit more about the music? Like, what is the sweet soca? What is the bashment, and kind of
Hmm.
everything in between?
Well, the bashment is like what you would say, juke down music. If you're on a cruise and bashment come on, you're gonna get that extra raunchy dancing. With the women 625 in and whatever the case may be. The groove is to me now is more like, let me say the crossfire where you get that more sway and the grown, the older folks. But I feel like Barbados music is kind of like more edgy in terms of the delivery, in terms of the way how the bass is hit down and how the drum pattern set out. Yeah, definitely a little more edgy.
Definitely, yeah. And I could feel that especially whenever I listen to Bashment, especially.
Hmm.
It's just like a type of raw energy, right?
Pure instructions.
Exactly, pure instructions. Where do you kind of see the future of Bashment Soca going? Do you kind of see it maybe staying like traditional? Do you kind of see it evolving and changing? Like, how do you see it for yourself, especially as an artist?
Well, I definitely see it evolving. I mean, a perfect example of that would be Manager. Manager was a nice fusion, a bashment, but it still had in dancehall, and it was able to even surpass nine. And to this day, it's still growing. So I see it going, as far as any other genre. Maybe the way how artists interpret it or shape it up will make the difference. So I definitely see it going further past the shores.
Amazing. And Manager is definitely one of my favorite tunes as well. Can you give us a little bit of the backstory of Manager too?
Well, Manager was a vibe. We had a competition here. I think it was the first time we were having the Bashment Soca, first or second time. One of those. And I was just chilling with Paul here in the studio, and a secret a lot of people don't know: the drums on Manager they actually came from the song "Only Thing She Know." I just changed the bass and the keys, so we were just vibing and trying to find a concept. And I think I can't remember exactly. I think either Paul or myself said raise your hand if you don't need a manager, and then the other person said, but you only need a man who can manage you. And then we just start freaking out like, yo, this tune rock. And and I don't know, it just happened, man. We didn't even spend like 20 minutes creating that tune. It's just
That's
crazy,
amazing.
the
So
energy.
the creative energy just came and made that tune just what it is. That's
I tell
incredible, you
you.
know. I
And
find
then
some of
and
go ahead, yeah.
now then I was saying, and then when
Yeah.
we released it, like it just shot instant. Like I remember Puffy say, yeah, we could come in the studio, he gonna drop it. And he had never even heard it, and he just drop it. And then after that, the tune just blasts off. People were calling us like, yo, how we get that tune to bust so fast? We didn't even know. It was just an energy at the time, man.
Hey, right place, right time, right people, right energies, definitely. I want to big up Gel real quick in the chat. Big up yourself, Alyssa. We got
Yeah.
Toronto in the building. I got a question for you here, Justy, from one of the people in the chat from Mr. Tabletop. I'll
Mm-hmm.
bring it up for you. Outside of your music, what are some of your favorite soca songs for 2020?
2020. Well, I mean, a lot of tunes didn't really drop for 2020. So, um, the new voice tune, yeah, that's actually a real nice vibe. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? I don't know. I probably need to go back to 2019.
That's fine too. No
Yeah,
worries.
2019. Cass Boss Lady.
Me
Yeah,
too.
big tune that. Big tune that. Who else? My brain just ticking. There's so many songs. Patrice, anything Patrice. Anything
Carry on.
Patrice. Yeah, Carry On, man. That is
Oh,
a
mad
big
tune,
one.
right?
Yeah, boy. Um, Drew had a song, My Kind of Party too. Yeah, I mean, I had a hand in it, but that was one of my favorite songs. Not being biased, but just saying.
Nice, nice. Yeah, plenty of great tunes, and now people have the Just D repertoire to listen to as well. So I know that Just D has evolved over time, right?
Hmm.
I know you were Young Dynasty, then
Yeah,
Young D, and then Just D. So
Just
can you
the.
tell me a little bit more about how you as an artist have changed and evolved over time? Like, what was your first experience with music, and what propelled you to go down this path?
Okay, well, from the time I was young, I always wanted to be into the music industry. Like, I was blessed to know what I want to do. Um, After I left school, I went into a competition. I had a group, became third, a competition here called the Richard Stout. After that, Young Dynasty was born because I wanted to be a rapper. I used to listen to Ja Rule, 50 Cent, all of them guys, and try to impersonate them. But what would happen is every time I go into the radio station, the DJ would say Young D, Young D, Young D, Young D. So eventually the dynasty just disappeared. So after trying to rap, I was doing the hip hop festival, Miss Barbados World, that kind of stuff, shipping. After that, I realized, well, hip hop wasn't really happening. in Barbados. How else am I gonna get known, get some recognition? So then I started to listen to soca and study it. So I put out one or two songs that didn't really do anything, and then I got in touch with Rupee's DJ, a guy called Alvin Toppin. So I sent him a song to send to Rupee, and he sent it. And then to my surprise, Rupee, he came back. He was like, "Yo, I love this tune, whatever the case may be." And then he was the first artist to actually take a song from me. So then Young Lee was born. After that, I got a call by Chris Allman, a legend in the game. Went by Chris Allman's studio, and I started to meet a whole heap of songwriters, a whole heap of artists would pass through and say, "Well, send me some vibes, let me see what you got." And then from there, it just picked up. I ended up working with Sanctuary, writing for Mr. Dale, Biggie, working with Mikey, a whole heap of everybody. So then one day Chris was like, "Yo, D, you should do soca, but just do it your way." And I like listening, so I just took his advice. And funny enough, he wasn't management at the time. He realized I was writing, and he hit me up on Facebook to do a project with a Octane. And then he said, "Yo, what do you think about coming back out as an artist?" And I said, "Sure." And then we sat down, we had some conversations, and we came up with like a 3-year plan. And Just D was born right after that. We just dropped the Young D and left it as Just D.
That's amazing. So it was definitely a journey with some very, very inspiring and influential people. That's a really, really awesome story.
Yeah, man.
I know you mentioned some big names there already. Were there any specific artists who you felt were really inspiring to you? I know you had mentioned some of the hip
hmm
hop and your rap artists. Are
hmm
there any artists, inside the genre of soca and outside that you felt were your biggest inspirations?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I used to look up, and I still do look up to Rupee a lot, mainly because of his sound. Because, he always had that crossover. So to me, it felt like, okay, I could go in that line because I like that sort of music. That's where I would like to end up. Marshall, of course, can't ever forget Marshall. But Allison grew up on her. Yeah, man, a lot of those, Destra, a lot of those, Sherwin Winchester. Oh man, so many to call.
Yeah, all amazing, amazing artists who have
Definitely.
definitely influenced soca so much over the years. So
hmm
a lot of people know you for your amazing hit songs. What I think a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people because I know people know you're an amazing producer too, but I think more people are kind of used to always seeing you on stage, but you do a lot of stuff behind the scenes with the
hmm
music. So you are what we call a triple threat, right? You are a
hmm
producer, an artist, and a writer. How do you manage to kind of juggle all three of those?
I try to do something every day. So if I'm not writing, I'm producing. If I'm not producing, I would be out performing. I just go with the flow, really. If I wake up today and I feel like writing a song, chances are I'm gonna write it, produce it one time, and then sing it, put down the vocals. So in any case, instead of juggling, they all just happen one after the other, really.
Amazing. So it's kind of like building up this momentum and keeping it going.
Yeah, I just keep
Awesome.
flowing.
Awesome. 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 So you've written for some, you've written some many soca hits in the past, so many of them. Can you name a few songs that you've had a hand in writing?
Yeah, I did. My Kind of Party by Drew. I did. I Got You as well by Drew. Um, I worked on Rough Wine. I wrote Rough Wine for Marshall. Closer by Hyper Sounds. Rock That Body by Father Fox. Who else? Mr. Sweet Wine by Alison Hines. Um, Last year Rick had a song called Fat in Mood. I think that was the name of it. We did that actually in 2015. There was Mega Monday, Joaquin's first big hit, Displace. That was me. I wrote Manager, I wrote Hole, I wrote Only Thing She. no, but yeah, just to name a few, some of everybody, man, some of everybody.
That's amazing. Yeah, all really, really, really big tunes right there. Well-known tunes that always be mashing up effects and always be getting the girls to whine a little bit and stuff like that. Yeah,
hmm
friend, I'm gonna take a quick look into the chat real quick. Tamara, big up yourself. Gel, Fringe, I see ya. Gems Carnival, big up yourself. So one of the next questions I wanted to ask you, you have done an incredible job on your marketing, right? I mean, the album dropped, the album was available on all these platforms, whether it be, Spotify, Apple. What's the importance of artists right now, especially younger soca artists or artists who might feel a bit discouraged, to get their music out there on all these platforms?
I mean, it's simple, so it could be easily available, to anybody, anywhere in the world, because you never know where your music is or where it might end up, you know. And to have it on so many platforms, it means that if somebody in France come across it and they want to get it, they don't have to dig up and look and try to find it. They can easily just go there and get it. So yeah, just so it's more accessible, really.
Got you, got you. Um, you've been in the game for a while now, right? And
hmm
we have this dope album and we have all these amazing tunes. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced along the way to get to where you are now?
Definitely one of the challenges would have to be finances. Yeah, because it's very expensive to do music. My way of combating that was to learn everything on my own. So YouTube became my friend. So that was one of the challenges. Um, Getting in contact with like the people who matter. Getting on radio, getting to the DJs, getting in the newspaper. Um, getting the music out there. Finding people that actually see the vision, and that would help you drive the ship forward and support the movement. And that's why I got big up my team, because without the team, Just D won't be Just D today, because the guys go hard. So yeah, man.
That's amazing. It's good to hear that you have a really successful team that believes in you as an artist and sees your vision. I could definitely see the financial aspect being a struggle. One of the things that we recently were talking about on Soca Analysts was that that's possibly one of the reasons that we think that artists might not want to make new music right now. It's just because they
Mhm.
don't really see a return on investment on it if they can't perform. Do you feel, especially right now, that that would be an issue as to why artists aren't making more music?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, performing is a huge part of the income process for artists. But I mean, there's streaming right now. Streaming, you can make money off of streaming, and right now the internet is a huge place. Everybody's on the internet. Once you play your cards right and do your marketing, you can still make something. Something's better than nothing, in my opinion. Something's better than nothing.
Absolutely. And we've seen how you are able to take full advantage of all the resources available. I think you touched on as well educating yourself when it comes to, whether that be producing, writing, or being an artist. How important do you feel that education is for artists, whether that be, them learning actual, chords and musical notes, like, or is it something where you feel like you can just kind of anybody can really learn it?
No, I think it's very important, because the more you know in what you want to do, the better for you. You can apply it and create some amazing stuff. Like, for instance, this time now, when you're home, if you wanted to do a production for yourself, and you know how to play a one, two, three cards, you can figure it out, and you can save money. You don't have to look for money to try to find a producer to do it if you can do it yourself. The same thing if you have to cut a few dub plates and you just know how to record and stop recording, you could record your own dub plates and save that money having to spend it on studio time. So I think it's important, to have education about what you're doing, the field that you're into. The more you know, the more you can actually do. Like, you could do your own posters, do your own little videos, everything. Keep all that in house and actually put out stuff faster.
Definitely, yeah. And I've seen that, you're definitely really talented and that you are extremely well-rounded, right? So
Mhm.
I hope all the artists and the young up-and-coming artists especially are taking notes because these are some valuable gems coming from Just D right now.
Mhm.
Um, one of the next question I want to ask is specifically about the Beijing soccer, right? So some people have said that Bajan Soca has changed over the years. Some people argue that it might not have as much influence as it used to have back in the days during like the Bajan invasion. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on that? Do you see that Bajan Soca has evolved and changed and has grown? Or do you see that the influence from it has changed? Like, what are your thoughts on the evolution and change of Bajan music?
Um, well, I think it has changed. I mean, nothing stays the same. I think it has evolved. Has it evolved for the better? I don't know. That's up to the listener. But there are a lot of different factors too. Because like back in the days, you would have had less artists on the circuit. So that would be less competition. And then, you know, there wasn't no social media. There's a lot of different factors. Now we have all the social media. We have 1,000 people dropping songs daily to compete with, and then all the other islands too. And then one of the issues I think we have that people might be saying the Bajan music is not the same is because they're not being exposed to it. And that's a big issue. Like I find we don't really have a lot of DJs on the whole circuit. Not nearly as much as Trini DJs or even the small island DJs, that could actually represent, you know. And then another thing too, I think maybe the music is not getting, to these people, so they could be aware of it. But
Definitely.
has it changed? It has. To me, it has evolved.
Amazing. Yeah, I see Jel right here in the comments saying exactly, fully agree with that one. So,
Hmm.
in other words, the music is being created, and
Right.
the artists are there, and the producers there, the writers are all there, but it's just not maybe getting that exposure that it should be getting, or that play that it should be getting.
Exactly. Exactly.
Understood. Okay. Really, yeah,
Because
valuable input.
you can have a great song, but if you don't have any listeners, your song not gonna go anywhere. It's not gonna do anything.
Definitely. And with that, I mean, I think that begs the question of then what is the future of Bajan music? Where do you see it going then?
Well, if things change, and artists find, a way to get the music out, then I see it, breaking barriers like all the other island music. Because we have great music here. We have great producers here, great artists, great songs. We just need people to hear them. That's all. So I see it going forward once we pass that challenge.
Absolutely. And I think that really echoes on your points of artists taking full advantage of all these streaming platforms they can to
Hmm.
really, really push it, especially at a time like this where, everybody is at home and you can kind of grab everybody's attention. So all
Correct.
really, really good points. Speaking about the soca from the other islands and stuff, are there any songs or type of sounds that you like from any other specific Caribbean islands, whether that be, maybe like the Denry segment sound, whether that be the job sound from Grenada, or
Hmm.
kind of the bouillon that we get from Dominica? Is there any kind of specific sound that you really like?
I like the Denry. To me, the Denry has that, that global sound, that like Afro kind of vibe to it. Yeah, so I definitely like that. The Bouillon nice too. I've been to St. Martin Carnival already, and yeah, the Bouillon just be good energy, especially when you're in the effects, boy. Hmm.
Definitely, to me, it have that real like raw sound. It has really
Yeah.
get in your veins. It doesn't waste no time. Um, are there any other artists, whether that be in soca or outside of soca, that you would really, really love to collaborate with? Yeah, obviously, I'm not expecting to give out any secrets, but anybody else that if there was any artist you could collaborate with, who would it be?
Hmm. Um, Probably Rihanna first up because she's the
The
biggest thing
Bad
right now.
Gallery.
Bad gallery, so that would be a massive one. But I mean, but any of the great ones, man. Patrice, same Destras, um, Shensia, basically any artist that just serious with this stuff and doing great stuff, man. That inspires people, that gives me inspiration. Yeah.
Absolutely, all really, really phenomenal artists. Um, where do you kind of see the future of soca going in general? I know it's a big question, but given the
Hmm.
trends and how you have an ear for producing and for writing and also for singing, where do you kind of see soca moving in maybe, let's say, like the next 5, 10 years or so?
In the next 5, 10 years, I see soca crossing over as big as maybe Afrobeats did. I think it's growing. More and more artists are experimenting. They're doing their own thing. They have their own style. So I definitely see it crossing borders and impacting in the world in a big way, man. Because I mean, it's happy music, and everybody. I think people prefer to be happy over anything else. So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
mhm.
soca is just a different genre. It is hit
Yeah,
people
man.
differently, and I think one of the fascinating things with soca is seeing how it's received in the Spanish-speaking countries. For
Hmm.
example, when I visited Panama and I came out the airport, got into an Uber ride, the first
Hmm.
thing that was playing on the radio was soca, and I was
Soca.
so like blown away because the driver was saying, I don't understand what they're saying, but it sounded real nice. So I think soca definitely has that vibe. What do you think it takes for soca to appeal more on a global scale?
um, Definitely the concept. I think a relatable concept that 95% of the world could say, you know what? Yeah, I feel that. I know exactly, what he or she's talking about. Yeah, and probably, I guess, a little more standard English, because I find maybe that's one of the problems too. A lot of the people from the other countries can't understand our slangs that well. So maybe that and the concepts.
I feel you. Yeah, I think you bring up a really important point, especially when you talk about the potential language barriers. But we have
Hmm.
seen how some soca songs, just because the linguistics is correct at the right time, can really go
Yeah,
global. Like I think "Who Let the Dogs Out."
facts.
Nobody expected it to do what it did. But then we've also seen other songs right out from Barbados with Rupee, just taking things super
Just
super global.
facts,
So
facts, facts.
I think it's one of those things where you who are doing the right thing, which are just continuously trying and experimenting and seeing where it goes, will definitely increase the chances of soca going global.
Hmm.
Um, Before I let you go, Justy, can you tell us what is the future now for Justy specifically? Where do you see yourself in your music and evolving and going?
Well, I definitely looking to, cross over in a big way, hit the main stage. I keep saying I would love to be on the Grammy platform, gonna speak that into being. Just putting out, quality music, staying consistent, growing the fan base, becoming a household name and inspiring, and, just one of those people in the industry, that the younger ones would look up to.
Amazing, amazing. And I'm definitely sure there's many artists out there that look up to you and see your journey and the hard work that you're putting in. We got
Hmm.
one more question here from
Hmm.
Love Soca themselves. What is your favorite track on the album?
The funny thing is my favorite track changes every day when I listen. I think my favorite track today would be uh that's a hard one. Goodbye. Yeah, goodbye. Today.
And then we'll see when the next interview what the next favorites is, right?
Yeah, bro.
Real vibes, real vibes. So just tell us, where can we find you? Where can we find your album? Let us
Hmm.
know everything.
Well, you can find the album on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple, Tidal. If you're still using Napster, Rhapsody, you name it, it's there. You can click the link in my bio if you want to find it faster. I suggest that. Or go to my website, iamjustd.com, and all the links will be there.
Real vibes. You heard everyone. Make sure you check out Just D's album. Get it, listen to it, stream it, support your Caribbean artists. All right, let us know your thoughts on it. Just D, I want to say thank you so much again for taking the time to join Let's Talk Soca, the D Soca Analysts takeover on the Live Love Soca page. Much love and respect, brother.